Here we have one of Flat Earth's most infamous snake oil salesmen. John Thor uses his clever editing and word salad to perpetuate pseudoscientific junk, and we will see that demonstrated in a bit.
It is a fact, not a theory, that bodies of water always seek and find their own level.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack with that first sentence alone. Let's start with the little snide comment about fact and theory. This is something that flat earthers do a lot, where they misuse the word theory. Well, they misuse a lot of words, but we'll get to that later. They like to say that the heliocentric model is just a theory, and therefore not fact, but they do not understand what the term scientific theory means. This has been covered to death by myself in past videos and many of my peers, so I'll not go through it today. The second part of the statement is the whole bodies of water always seek and find their own level. This is a highly misleading and long debunked argument. Yes, when water is left alone, it will become level. But water is not sentient. It cannot seek and find level. Water is a fluid, which means it is subject to the forces acting on it. Fluids take the path of least resistance to get to a state of equilibrium. When the primary force acting on the water is gravity, then it will conform to gravity. Oh yeah, gravity is a thing. So let's see what this John Thor has to say about that.
From a pond, lake, or an ocean, the natural physics of water is to find and remain level.
Do you care to explain how those physics work?
It is a fact that the majority of Earth is covered in such level water, thus making it an unscientific theory to postulate that Earth is actually a gigantic sphere.
So let's see if I have your argument right. Water is always level and covers 70% of the Earth. Therefore, the Earth is flat. Is that right? If it is, then there are so many problems with this argument that I don't know where to start. Well, we can start with the premise of the argument, that standing water will always be level and that level means flat. The premise that water is always level is wrong from the start. Water is a liquid, so it has the properties of cohesion and adhesion. Cohesion is the attraction of water particles to themselves and what gives water its surface tension. This is why you can put water on a coin and it creates a little hill of water. You see, the surface of that water is not level to the ground and absolutely is not flat. Then you have adhesion, which is when water particles are attracted to the particles of the container. This is best shown in measuring tubes with the concave shape of the meniscus. This is another example of non-level, non-flat surface of resting water. And both of these properties can be demonstrated in my first video on YouTube, where I took a hockey ball and showed water sticking to it while the ball is spinning. Now, this is not how our oceans work. They are held in place by gravity, same as you and I. But there is a reason that I bring up cohesion and adhesion. You see, John, the reason that I bring these up is to demonstrate that water, along with other liquids, are not out to seek level. Instead, they find equilibrium with the forces acting on it. With the coin example, the forces of cohesion, adhesion, and gravity are all equal, so it stays still. But if you add more water, then the force of gravity will become larger than the cohesion, and it causes the water to spill over the coin until the surface tension and adhesion stops the water from continuing until it is a single atom thin. The oceans are the same way, but on a more complex scale with more forces acting on it. These forces include the gravity of Earth, gravity of the Moon, surface tension, adhesion, wind, currents, and more. When the surface of the ocean is still, that means all of these forces momentarily amounts to zero, and that portion of water is at equilibrium. And by the way, the oceans are rarely, if ever, at equilibrium. they are always moving. So I don't know why you expect them to be flat.
It is an unproven, unscientific theory with no observable, measurable, or repeatable evidence
That the Earth is flat.
to claim that bodies of water can somehow bend, cling to the exterior of shapes, and show convexity upon their surface.
First off, this is not the claim that we are all making. The oceans are not clinging to the surface of the Earth. Instead, the gravity of the Earth is drawing the water of the ocean in as close as it can get it. So you are either ignorant of your opponent's stance or creating a straw man. Secondly, this straw man is a bad one at that. Water can cling to the outside of a surface, demonstrated by this wet ball, further showing how you are talking out of your ass.
It is a fact, not a theory, that we are able to observe objects at incredibly long distances, far beyond what would be possible if Earth were a globe 25,000 miles in circumference, as we're told. For example, it is a fact that in Genoa, Italy, from just above sea level, it is possible to see the distant islands of Elba, Caprea, and Corsica 80 to 125 miles away.
Wouldn't it be nice if you would cite sources or show math or do something other than just state things?
It is a necessary theory that the globe Earth must curve 8 inches per mile squared if it really be a ball 25,000 miles in circumference, as we're told.
And here we have John Thor again spouting out long debunked claims about things that he has no idea about. You see, 8 inches per mile squared is a parabola, not a circle. If you want to calculate the curvature of the Earth, well, that's a circle. A parabola would give you the wrong numbers. So why are you using it?
J-Dreamers, this is not a mirror, it's a glass of water. Why am I showing you a glass of water? Because this is one of the breadcrumbs that proves that the Earth is a plane. You see, if you fill up a glass of water to the top, you can tell it's perfectly flat.
Can you now? I'm sure you have some elegant and exact way to determine that. Please demonstrate.
As a matter of fact, you know it's perfectly flat because of the perfect mirror-like reflection that you get from it.
Wow! What an exact and intelligent way to figure this out. That is such a perfect reflection with no flaws whatsoever, is it not?
If there's any distortion whatsoever in the reflection, that means that there's a distortion or a curving in the water.
Uh-huh.
But if it's a perfect reflection, that means the water is perfectly level.
And do you have anything to back this statement up?
Whenever we say water always finds its level, what we mean is it is always flat on the top.
Instance number 17,954 of a flat earther mistaking the word level for meaning flat.
Now, if you can do this test at home, you can pour yourself a nice glass of water and you can see that it flattens out on the top. And then you can take it to another extreme and you can fill your bathtub. And when the bathtub is full, you can see that it finds its level.
I can already tell this is going to be a perfect scientific experiment with no logical flaws and no jumps to conclusions that don't make any sense. I swear this video is going to be the end of me. If someone finds me in my office slumped over with 3 empty bottles of rum in my hands, please just go ahead and delete my browser history because this video is killing all of my brain cells that haven't died yet.
It's flat on top. You can go to a nice still swimming pool. You can see that the water's flat on top. You can go to your local pond or lake and you can see that sure enough that water is flat on the top. Now some people might be able to look at the glass of water and I might say, hey, is it flat on top? And they'd say, yeah, of course it's flat on top. And I'd say, okay, what about the bathtub? Is it flat on top? And they say, yeah. Well, what about the pond or the swimming pool? or the lake? And they'll go, yeah, it's flat. It's perfectly flat on top. I agree, water finds its level. But then, whenever you ask them, is the ocean flat? That's whenever the gears, it's like a wrench is thrown into the system, because their subconscious realizes, uh-oh, I've just been caught. Now I have to come to terms with something, because if the oceans are flat, if the oceans and those giant bodies of water follow suit with the smaller versions, that must mean that the oceans are flat. And if the world, as I know it, is mostly covered in ocean, that means that the world, as I know it, at the very least, must be mostly flat. So, what I found is that people start backtracking when you get to the oceans. They go, oh, no, the oceans are definitely curved. They're not flat whatsoever because of the ball. And then you go, well, what happened to the lakes? Well, yeah, there's probably some curvature to the lakes as well. Well, what about the swimming pool?
Look here, John, this is what's happening. You see, when you go and talk to a regular person, a non-crazy person, they're not thinking of the size and shape of the Earth 24/7 like you are. So when you ask them basic questions like, is this cup flat? Is this bathtub flat? Is that lake flat? They're just going to take a cursory look at it and just say, yeah, sure, it looks flat to me, without really even thinking about it. And then when you quiz them further, they'll probably think something like, well, I guess it is slightly curved, because it is. It is slightly curved with the curvature of the Earth. The problem is that the Earth is so absolutely massive that that curvature is basically irrelevant. It is so minuscule that it's undetectable without precision equipment. And when people don't have precision equipment, they're just going to go based off of what they see. So you are leading them into a trap question. So when these people backtrack, as you say, they are correct. That lake is curved. Your bathtub is curved. Your cup of water is curved. All of it curved with the curvature of the Earth. I'm done with this video, guys. I feel tired. I think most of my brain cells are gone. And I need to recover from this massive headache that John Thor has given me. This video is one of those, it's so dumb, you can't really come up with any kind of arguments against it, as it itself is so poorly argued. I did not know where to start, and I think that means this is a good stopping point for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want some more Blue Earth Thing, hit me up on Twitter or on Instagram, both of them at Blue Earth Thing. There you'll get some more and exclusive content from myself and my team. Thank you guys for watching. Blue Earth Thing out.